Yo, it's Guido coming at you with a tactics talk, and today we have an absolutely mental Manticore game, and this is a game featuring moi in my Manticore. It's got Chuck in the driver's seat, the commander's seat, and every other seat because he's Chuck. Doesn't really need a Manticore, but I think he likes the Manticore because it tends to run out of ammo, and then you can just pick it up by the barrel and start smashing people with it. Not that he actually needs the tank to smash people, but I think he just finds that to be a little more fun. Here we are, my friends, on Himmelsprochhovkedorf. I am going to be very sad if they put all of that dynamic garbage on this map, because this is probably my favorite map in the game, my favorite tank. This is a great setup. It's all tier 10, all kinds of hit points, and I'm going to have a huge game with this particular map. Every time I log into or spawn into proc in a light tank, and especially the Manticore, I get kind of excited because I know that there's definite possibilities here. So if you know what you're doing on this map, you can have a big time on it with a scout. If you have a good scout and you're in something else, you can also have a good time with it. If you can eliminate the other team's scouts and you're in a medium, you can have a good time on it. So I mean, there's just a lot of possibilities on this map. So when I spawn in, I look at this, I say I've got a Manticore on the other side, a 13105, and a 100 LT. So there's a lot of scouts already. So when I am in a scout-heavy situation like this on proc, I'm going to be careful. So my setup is CVS. I've got Bond Optics and Bounty LNES. I'm going to stick with the camo directive, and I am running food. It's a very good crew. I think they're 8 skills. Maybe 7 and 8. I have spent a lot of resources skilling up this particular crew with Chuck, and then I think he's one of the race car drivers is in the other spot, at least from a game standpoint. So we spawn into the north, and I'm going to head over here to the west side. All right, so I've got a couple options here. Let's talk about this. They have a Manticore, a 100 LT, and a 105. There are no wheelie boys, so I'm not worried too much about them going deep, all right? A lot of times you get a wheel tank that'll go really deep and kind of crazy, light you all up, that kind of thing. They tend to die doing that stuff, but it can be dangerous because it could spot you, and I'd really like to not be spotted. I don't want them to know where I'm going. If they know which direction I'm going, they have better guesses on where I might be later on if they start getting lit. We're going to see some of that stuff actually go on anyway right here. So I cut the corner through here instead of going back where the rest of my team is, because I know I'm fast enough and I should be able to get up and over here before something tops, but it's going to be close. Depending on where they spawn and which way they go, about right now they're going to start topping if they're doing any ridge running. There are 3 scouts in this game. You have to almost guarantee at least one of them is going to ridge run. If one of them is smart on the south spawn, they're going to go up to my favorite bush over here on the east side over here. So I would expect somebody at least on the hill, or maybe even try to get into that bush. And then I'm expecting someone to try to counter me where I'm going right here. Now, the big bush everybody wants to get to, the big bush, is right up here at the top at about E1 or so in this line of bushes. That is the catbird seat. You will spot things like crazy up here, but it's easy to get spotted trying to get there. Because it's tier 10, and I expect at least some of those scout players are at least experienced, if not good. I'm going to assume that off the bat. I am going to come up a little bit short right there and not push that hard. As you are moving up towards these bushes, let's say you were going for those top bushes up in the corner, pay attention to the mini-map and the screen. If something gets lit, do not wait for the light to go off, for your sixth sense to go off. Bail out and get the heck out of there. Just kind of assume you've been spotted, all right? Sometimes that's not true because this tank has really great camo, but I'm just saying at this tier, you really don't want to push it. I am not going to push it so much. Oh, I've completely lied to you. Maybe I'm thinking about another game. Fascinating. I thought I stopped in that bush. Hold on, I think I actually moved. So I do make it here. All right, there we go. There's the guy that was trying to counter me, all right? So all that discussion is valid. I just realized right now I actually did go that deep. I also lit up the 100 and took a chance getting to the bush. So I completely went against my advice right here. Which, you know what? You can do that. I know I've got good camo right here, but it is taking a chance. I could have been deleted easily from the game if that 100 LT was a little closer. Notice that he went to the wrong spot though. The real counter to this bush is this bush right here. Let me lower the view. It's right here where my cursor is going around it, up on the edge of this ridge, or driving up to this spot right here where you can look over and just kind of top it, and you will catch most scouts trying to go where I went. The Manticore took a bad line. I was actually able to get up and behind this line of bushes before he could see me. All right, so the bushes stopped it. There was an opening. We zoom out. There's an opening right here. If he'd have been a little bit further over in this area, he would have absolutely seen me. And more than likely, I was about to take a bunch of hits. All right, so he gets lit, and I'm getting really worried about that. He knows I'm there, right? Do you see the shot? There you go. There's a guy who knows what's going on. He knows I'm probably in that bush. He goes really deep, and I'm screwed. This dude has decided that his mission in life is to peel out whichever scout got up into these bushes. I must be thinking about a different game based on, I must have gone to that bush in a different game. I'd forgotten actually about this initial opening action. I did mention earlier, though, that if you try to counter scout in YOLO, sometimes you get that. Well, here comes Mr. YOLO Man. So I just go ahead and move. We'll put a shot into him. I'm probably going to eat one. He misses. Fantastic. I actually blocked the 110E3. I might even block. I blocked 2 shots. That's incredible. I completely missed that. I blocked 2 of my own team's shots, unfortunately, just trying to get away. All right, so we'll swing around, and maybe this is where I only go to that bush. That's probably what happens here. Maybe that's the, there you go. All right, so the synapse just fired, and now I remember I got booted out of the more aggressive bush, and I'm going to come back to this one right here. All right. The FV, 295 FV 4201 is in a good spot right there. There is an artillery that's going to kind of work on him, so that's not great, but he is able to do some good spotting. And now I really, because of where he is, I'm not going to be able to get up into the taller bush there. Look at that. Look at that. Somebody knows, right? Now, I'm not sure on that, to be quite honest. If he saw me turn around and I was still lit coming back towards this bush, that's actually interesting. Maybe I should have futzed around in the back a little bit longer. Remember, there are a couple extra skills out there and things that keep you lit for a little longer. I'm really curious on that, but he did get a shot. Maybe he'd been shooting into other places I hadn't noticed if he had, and I don't see any shots into the ground. So that was an interesting one for me. So I'm thinking, well, do I stay here? Does he know something? Let's see. I'll just shift a little bit in the bush. Especially if he didn't see it hit the ground, he might be tempted to shoot again into the bush. You go, ooh, I must have hit something. All right, so things are going okay-ish. I've got 703 assists, 384 damage on the YOLO Manticore. Their Manticore being dead is huge. That is an absolute help. Their LT is in the middle there somewhere, and I haven't seen the RHM, or the 13105. So that's the worrisome one. There's a smarter guy out there in a 13105 who is being a little more sneaky. Actually, is that him? Never mind. He's down in the pit. He's down in the pit. There are no other AMXs. That's interesting. So he's in the pit, not a factor, and now we get some guys moving up. And this is where you're just going to go ahead and soak up the beautiful assist damage. Guys are driving out to where you can see them. You've got a schnit ton of sniperinos. I mean, look how many clowns we have back here. They're all just waiting for me to get those lights. I've got to start thinking of a good way to get by the FV if I can. I'd love to see him dead. So I'm watching this. We're going to go ahead and tee him up, see if we can keep him lit a little longer. And then the mouse is wandering around. So we have the mouse working in the pit there. We have the FV in the northern bowl area. The middle's not doing so great. And I want to feel like we're really winning here, but it's still pretty much an even game. There's their 13105. He was in the pit, so now he's moving around over there. So I'm going to come out of here, and it's time for me to start moving forward or doing something else with the old Manticore here. So when I move up here, and we've discussed this a couple times on this channel, be very careful about getting close enough to the pit where the FV is. Now, what he's going to try to do a lot is get up into this corner right here, because the closer he can get to the road, the more likely he is to proxy light a scout trying to be sneaky guy right through this area. So I can get up to about where these bushes are without him proxy lighting me, unless he really goes kind of YOLO. I don't expect him to do that. So we'll just move up. I actually got some spotting on the mouse, which is pretty funny. And that's about as far as I want to go. Look at my little proxy light circle here on the mini map. And just think about how far that little marker has to come up here to actually proxy light me. It's close. That's about as far as I want to go until we start figuring a few things out. All right, is there a way around him? There certainly is. I could go a little to the right and then sneak up forward and try to leapfrog past him. I have a lot of snipers here, and I'm thinking about that right now as I'm kind of repositioning and figuring out what I want to do here. I'm going to move back. What I'm trying to do now is see if I can light the 4501 or 2 or whatever that thing is. There we go. So we got the mouths. We're getting some spotting off of the mouths, getting some chips off the top of them. Their 100 is working the middle, so that's a bit problematic. And now I'm going to take another chance here, and am I going to be able to sneak past the T95? And I get right past. So a bit of a dangerous move, but he's not in the right position, doesn't catch me. And now I've got into a position. This is not somewhere that I think they would expect necessarily, although all of a sudden the 4201 knows that I'm there, right? I got him lit. Now everyone's just shooting in there. Here's an opportunity. The two 110E3s decide to YOLO forward, and this gets really interesting right here. Look at them all just shooting to this bush, right? Somebody or multiple somebodies are clicking here. They know I'm there now based on how they're getting lit, right? If he's in this bowl and he hasn't poked up for a while and gets lit, he knows somebody's come high. So they're just all shooting in there. I'm down low. This is not the usual spot for people. Down low, usually they're up high to get a better vision. So that's what I'm trying to do right there. But the 110E3s are now going to give me an opportunity. Bit of a dumb YOLO, but that's a lot of armor and firepower. And they're actually backed up by a lot of snipers back here. So I'm going to try to take advantage of that. They're going to go. I'm not going to get any spotting on stuff they might see, but I'm going to let them go by. And I really wish the ST wasn't moving. Here comes the 100 LT. And I'm just going to follow these guys up, see if I can't start getting some lights for them. We'll go a little bit wide. I don't want to get proxy lit by the mouse. The 100's bailing out. There we go. We got the patent lit. I'm past the mouse, and we'll just come on up here, and we'll start looking for the rest of these guys. I see the 100 coming, and this is where this becomes just absolute chaos right here. We're getting guys lit. For them to want to come and get shots, they're going to have to come up and over and get shot by our snipers. I've got guys back here lit. We have firepower forward, so this is a very unusual situation on this map. Down goes the 2268-4, and that shot was meant for the 110E3, so I eat another shot. The patent has now lucked out twice shooting me. I'm going to get out of their way. I don't want to be in front of them anymore. I'll cross here, though, because I want to find this patent. Let's get rid of these guys. All right, there's an HMC. Put a shot on him. Try to get out of the way of the 110E3. Let's get rid of this already. Oh, there we go. There's that patent that's been such a bummer. Oh, that is no good. Our RHM wants in on the action. He comes in behind them. Starts lighting up the patent. What he lets us know, though, is there's nobody else back in that corner. It's pretty much the patent, and that's it. We'll put a shot on him. The RHM dies. No surprise there. Here comes the 100 LT. So I'm going to bail out of there for a second. Down goes one of the 110E3s. I'd love to kill this patent if I can, so we're going to aim into that lower plate. Take him out. The 100 LT did not YOLO in. I thought he was going to, but he's kind of hanging out down below. Our 780 then gives me another opportunity. He goes in there and kind of keeps these guys busy. Let's see if we can get a shot on this mouse. Nah, we'll shoot the LT. That's going to get me lit. There you go. So I think, other than when the Manticore YOLO'd me, that was the first time I was lit. Which is 6,208. And as you can see, this isn't one necessarily. We're in a better position. We did not lose the other side. We've got them down in the bowl, but tanks and hit points wise, we're up a bit hit points wise, but we're not really tanks. We'll kill the mouths and bail out of here. And interestingly, this surprised me. The 4201 is still alive. Everybody went by, and most of them died, right? In that fight, everybody wanted shots, and most of these guys died, and we've left a really high hit point, or medium anyway, hit point T95, and an IS-7. So this is definitely getting spicy. So I'm going to work this way. Let's try to get rid of this IS-7. I don't think the 4201 is that interested in moving out. A bit of a hasty shot, actually. I think a more careful aim, and that's something you got to do with this tank, because as we're about to find out, it has trouble potentially with running out of ammo. I have 11 shells left. We got 2,000 damage, 6,360 assist. We'll just keep on keeping on here with this IS-7. Looking for shots on his side. The ST, I check. 6 o'clock, what's that 95 doing? The Foch has him pinned down for the moment. That's good. The IS-7's tired of being shot in the side, so he comes towards me, so I'm going to fade away from him. And now I'm thinking maybe I need to go help get rid of this FV. Looks like the 155 is reloading, so we'll come in here and we'll put a shot on him. And fortunately, the 100 LT did not see me. So I had 15 meters on that other bush line. He kills that guy off, and we're going to start working on him. There we go. This is not good, right? I've got 3 of them over here, and I see our 100 LT goes to engage there, so I'm going to let that happen for a minute. Was coming back to get rid of the IS-7 to at least take care of one flank. Now we got this guy raging around. He drives a straight line, which really helps me. He's worried about the other 100 LT, so we kill him. About the 3rd time I've been lit. I sort of expected the FV to push up and over and shoot me right there. And he doesn't really get out of there. I think their 100 LT should have done something a little, not their 100 LT, their FV should have done a little something more in there. I'm like, nah, I'm not going to get any of those shots. Is this guy going to actually give me a shot? He surely is. Oh, that's unfortunate. I really could have used that. Side of the turret, but still pretty angled. All right, he's on really low hit points, so I'm just going to come up over here. He's worried about the 100 LT. The 100 LT kills him. Fantastic. And now it is down to a 4v5. All right, the 100 is on a bunch of hit points. We've got 6,300 assist. We've got 3,538 damage. And I am worried about the other 3, right? We've got an UDES, we've got an Object, 268-4, and a T-57 Heavy. And frankly, I'm very surprised those have not really got into the game. So I'm just going to turtle up here a little bit. I feel like we're a bit defensive. I kind of like where the Foch is. He should see them do that. So now it's time to take your fast tank. Scouts can react nicely. Let's get over here. We're going to help the Foch, if we can, along with the 100 LT, and see if we can't start taking care of these guys as they try to push the Foch. And I'm like, all right, what is he going to do? Oh, geez, look at them. They're all coming. All right. So that's what these dudes were doing. They were finally pushing in here. Put a lot of damage on him real quick. They end up killing the 155, but here's 3 of them. All right, that's good intel. That's where all these dudes are hanging out. I think I take a bad shot here. Yep, so that's another shot I wish I hadn't taken. Because, look, fellas, we're getting down to 4 shots. I will tell you that in the game right now, I have 0 SA, that I only have 4 shells. I am just playing and shooting and spotting and repositioning as best I can. I think if I'd actually noticed that, I'd have been a little more careful in a couple shots. I did get lucky on a few. That really helped out. We actually get a shot. I will get spotted there, I believe. Yep, I kind of figured that, but I needed to get that damage in on that guy. So you're in a scout with a lot of mobility. There's no sense in just staying in the same place. I'll go that way and then spin around. I may have still been lit because the UDES is still lit. I don't know if that's because another tank saw him or what. I was trying to be clever. Let's see if it actually was clever. Come in here, look for shots. So we have this whole 1-2 line. Here, oh, look at this. There's a guy there. I totally missed it. It's interesting. I don't know why I didn't look at the T-57, to be honest with you. But we'll put a shot on him. He's pinned down. Looks like he's probably used his kit. Notice he's sort of looking at me. I kind of expected a shot to come in. I'm glad he didn't take it. Nicely aimed shot, fully aimed, and we kill that guy, and I am on 1 shell. Again, I don't know this in the game. I wish I had noticed it. Earlier would have been better because a couple of those shots I may have held. Or at least aimed a little bit better. But I'm at 5,000 damage, 6,727 assist. So this is an interesting discussion, though, because on the one hand, I don't notice I only have 1 shell. On the other hand, I'm still being aggressive and looking for shots. I'm going to get 1 more in here. Obviously, I have 1 shell, but then I run out. And watch what happens when I run out because I don't realize it. It's actually pretty funny. So we'll come in here. There's the 100 going that way. We'll come way in behind him. We'll use all these bushes. We'll look for that nice shot right into the back of the turret. And boom, we put another 366 on him. He takes another hit. And I'm like, all right, let's get another shot. This is awesome. More damage. Here we go. Okay, and pickle. And shoot. And why can't I... And I'm clicking, and I'm clicking. That is where I realized it right there, fellas. That is the point at which I realized I am out of ammo with 5,419 damage, 6,727 assists, and now it's time to just keep these guys lit. All right, the E100 goes dark. Let's get in here and try to find this guy. Keep as many bushes between he and I as I can. There we go. All right, so we got him. He's looking at me. That's very useful. There's all my buddies. They're all looking for shots. Oh, perfect. His turret's looking at me, and he just starts eating shots like crazy. Absolutely beautiful. Keep him lit as best we can. We're at 7,500 assists now. I'm starting to get a little bit worried about the other tanks. I don't want to get so close he sees me, though, because I'm worried about the other two being in sniperino positions. Oh, look at that. The 100 LT with another kill. Another opportunistic drive-by by the 100 LT, who also does a nice job in this game. And now we'll move this way. We have a time problem, guys. I am driving straight across here because I just want to try to light these guys up, give my team an opportunity to take shots on them if we can. So I'll come all the way back here. Let's see if we can see if they're back in the corner. Oh, look, T-57 went to cap. Very good. And their 268-4 drowned. So fantastic. Now, I don't know if that was a mistake or a very grumpy my team lost, they should have won thing. I don't know, but we'll take it. We end up with, I think it was actually over 8,000 assists. We'll look at the card here in a minute. For a combined, I want to say 13,000 or so, maybe 14,000 total by the time you add it all up. Damage game. We got 3 kills out of that, and absolutely mental. Out of ammo at the end, a little bit of more assist. I went down south, didn't find him. That's unfortunate, but somebody had to go to that part of the map, although I wasn't going to be able to do anything. In the back of my mind is like, I was like, well, maybe I can potentially ram somebody and do some damage to him if I can catch him out, catch him by surprise. I just thought that was an absolutely mental game. But I was definitely amped by the time I finished that. I had played, this was an evening game. I had played 2 games before it, just sat down because I had maybe 45 minutes, played 2 games, and they were absolute romple face stomps. We got our arses handed to us, didn't particularly do well. I was playing heavies or something else like that, and I went, let's just play the Manticore one more time before I go to bed. And this was the actual game the one more time. And when I loaded into proc, like I said at the beginning, every time I load into proc, I know that there's a potential for a really massive game when I'm running a scout, and especially the Manticore. And this ended up being one of those. I loved the challenge with the other 3 light tanks, and you saw that kind of early light tank scout, counter scout thing. I did go for the high bush right there, and now as I start to think about it, I recall thinking, like, this is the last game, let's just go for it, whatever, who cares, I've already been face stomped twice. So it ended up working. Really interesting that the other Manticore just said, F that, I'm not letting anybody get in that bush, and that's exactly what he tried to do, but he got nuked for it. Once we knock down their Manticore and I'm still alive, that just really gives our team an advantage. Their other scout, the 13105, when I said I didn't know where he was actually goofing around over there. He might have actually, I didn't pay close attention, he may have been trying to get in that bush I was talking about, or maybe he was scouting the top and got seen and maybe pushed himself over to get into the pit, or he drove into the pit. However he got there, that was not very useful to their team for a long time, and I think he died over that way. Is this carcass over here? Is that him in the water? No, it's a 260. Oh, that's what. No, okay. Interesting. The 268-4, he did that on purpose. He drove right into the middle of that pond and died. And their 13105, is that who that is right there? That's a CS63, also in the pit. So I don't know where their 13105 died, to be honest. He's not nearby here. So I'd have to go back to the replay and figure out where that was. But he didn't seem to be much of a factor. Their 100 LT was attempting to hold the middle and get some spotting in there, but he eventually didn't do a very good job for his team, and really this was a scouting win by me in the 100 LT by miles and miles. All right, that's all I've got. Let me know what you guys think down below. The mental Manticore game, I really enjoyed that one. To be honest, these are the games you play this game for, and they don't happen near as often as I think we'd all like, which, fair enough, they probably shouldn't, because there's 30 people playing in this game, in this match anyway, and not everybody's going to have a game like this every game, and really not every match will have a game like this, right? They're usually a lot less, or a lot more understated, I would say, than the results here, but this was a fantastic outlier for me. Really enjoyed this one. That's all I've got. You guys have a good one. We will see ya.